The old café on the corner of Maple Street had seen thousands of stories unfold, over coffee, over tears, over laughter, but none quite like this. It began with a storm. A violent downpour that hit the city without warning, turning sidewalks into rivers and leaving even the most seasoned commuters drenched and scrambling. Inside the café, Henry Carter, a 34-year-old single dad and owner of the cozy little spot, was wiping down tables when she ran in. She was soaked to the bone, her dress clinging to her skin, her hair sticking to her cheeks, and her feet bare. She looked more lost than cold. Henry didn't know what made him pause. Maybe it was the way she hugged herself like she'd already broken into pieces, but he couldn't look away. The café was empty that late afternoon. Just him, the scent of cinnamon coffee, and a shivering stranger. "You okay?" he asked gently, offering her a towel from behind the counter. "I'm sorry, I just needed to get out of the rain," she whispered, eyes darting everywhere but his face. "I'll leave." "Don't. Sit. Please." He gestured toward the bench by the window, near the heater. "You're not going back out like that. At least dry off." She hesitated, like she wasn't used to kindness. But she sat. Minutes passed. She didn't speak much, but her silence wasn't awkward. It was tired. Heavy. She kept glancing at the small shoe rack near the counter, where a pair of little pink sneakers were placed, his daughter's. "She yours?" the woman asked, nodding toward the shoes. Henry smiled. "Yeah. Lila. She's 7. Those are her favorite. Won't wear anything else if she has a choice." The woman's lips curved into the smallest, most fragile smile. "She must be something special." "She is." A few more beats of silence, then the woman looked down at her muddy, blistered feet. "I had to run. I left my shoes behind. They're gone now." Without thinking, Henry got up, walked to the back room, and returned with another pair of sneakers. Small, kid-sized, but clean. "Lila has a few extra pairs here. You look like you wear a small size." "Not ideal, but better than nothing." The woman stared at him, disbelief painted across her face. "I can't take your daughter's shoes," she murmured. "You're not taking them," he said softly. "You're borrowing them." She blinked fast, like she wasn't used to anyone trusting her with anything. "I'm Emily," she said after a long pause, cradling the shoes in her hands. "Henry." And with that, she walked out into the gray world again, wearing a child's shoes, carrying a stranger's unexpected kindness. Days passed. Then weeks. Henry thought of her more than he should have. Wondered where she went. Whether she was safe. Whether she had anyone. Lila asked about her shoes once. "A nice lady needed them," Henry said, brushing her curls. "She'll bring them back." "Did she say thank you?" She didn't have to. 3 months later, on the first cold day of winter, Emily returned. She stood at the same cafe door, still small, still quiet, but different. There was warmth in her cheeks. Resolve in her eyes. And in her hands, the pink shoes. Cleaned, polished, placed carefully in a small box wrapped with a ribbon. Henry stepped out from behind the counter. They stared at each other in silence for a heartbeat too long. "I found my footing," she said, her voice shaking. "Because of you." Henry swallowed hard. "You were the first person who didn't look at me like I was broken. And that mattered more than you'll ever know." "I'm glad you're okay," he said, stepping forward. Emily opened the box and placed the shoes on the counter. Next to them, inside, was a small velvet ring box. Henry stared. "I came back to return something borrowed, and to give something back. Something I never thought I could offer anyone." She opened the velvet box, and inside wasn't a ring for her. It was one for Lila. a delicate silver band with a tiny heart charm. She gave me her shoes, Emily whispered, tears brimming. So I could walk away from a life that was destroying me. I want to be someone she's proud of. Someone you can trust. Henry was quiet, overwhelmed. I'm not proposing, she added quickly, a nervous laugh escaping her. Not yet. I'm just saying. I'd like to stay. If you'll let me. Henry stepped closer, the pain of his past and the weight of his solitude loosening like fog under sunlight. You already did. 6 months later. Emily became part of the café, part of the rhythm, part of the laughter. Customers loved her. Lila adored her. And Henry? He finally knew what it felt like to share his life, not just survive it. One evening, after closing, they sat on the rooftop under string lights Henry had hung for Lila's birthday. Emily leaned against his shoulder, fingers interlocked with his. Do you believe in fate? She asked. He smiled. I believe in coffee. And rainy days. And women who return shoes with silver rings. She laughed, not like the woman who once ran barefoot, but like someone who finally believed she was home. In the end, it wasn't about shoes. It was about kindness. About seeing a stranger and choosing compassion. About believing that sometimes, a borrowed step can become the beginning of a shared journey. And for Henry and Emily, it did. Forever started with a pair of shoes.